We've reached the semi-finals day here at the V4 Future Sports Festival, and we're ready to see two more games today, a set of best of threes to decide who will make it to the best of five grand final on Sunday. As always, I'm your host, James Banks, and joining us on the analyst desk is Janko and someone that, again, he just doesn't turn up for big games at this point, does he?
It's just social distancing, James.
Okay, that's what it is.
We kind of had to make it more comfortable. We let Drowlon go, have some goulash with the big boys, get them ready for the Gambit game. They're going to need all the help they can get.
Even though they will be able to win Dust 2, it was a whole Jeep coming into this.
We'll see.
We'll see. But Drowlon, he does like to just get lost every now and again. He didn't make it a few times. Production, are we understanding what's going on with this boy yet? Oh, okay. Well, so they've got a little video prepared for us, so maybe they have found them. Let's have a look at this.
Check it out.
Hello again, gentlemen.
There we go. Pasha has turned up once again to the V4 Future Sports Festival. We're just making sure he gets his mic on and making sure he's nice and ready for this one. There we go. Pasha, how you doing, man?
Hello, man. It's very nice to be here
we need
again.
a bigger couch.
Yeah, social distancing's gone.
I lost some weight, so right now I am fit here, very nice. It's nice to see sitting next to the best coach in the world.
Nice, thank you, brother.
Yeah, I asked Janko what is the better, being a coach or being like an analyst desk. And Janko said being a coach is the best job in the world.
Yeah, last time you saw me, I didn't have this grey hair here.
It's aged him massively. But Pasha, what are you up to these days, man? How's it going?
I enjoy life right now, to be honest. You're playing like a games 15 years, you don't have a time for nothing. Right now I'm jealous so much because it's a corona and you earn money, you play the games and you're sitting at the home. So this is the best being an esport player. So right now I enjoy the life after, retired 3 years ago. I feel the life, really, I enjoy it. So being as esport player is not nice, guys. It's very nice and beautiful like a journey, but this is very hard. So if you're single, and you don't have a family, it's beautiful. But if you have a wife and kids, so it's not easy.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
You're right. You got to spend the time the correct way. Now, when we're looking at Polish Counter-Strike right now, what do you make of where it's at, man? Because it's not in the heights of when you were playing.
I'm disappointed very much, especially in this event. I hope I will enjoy some games from Polish players, but on Maluko, they out very fast. So Polish CS is nowhere right now, to be honest, and there is no space for them in the big esport right now. So maybe someday, I don't know what we need. Maybe we need to a follow organization like a Navi. So they got a lot of young players. I don't know how they doing, but the academies from a lot of organization on the top level. So, but our CS is unfortunately in very bad position right now.
If you can get Janko to come help the scene out a bit, you can come coach them. Is that good enough?
But they have plenty of talented coaches over there. They have Kuben doing it, Lore doing it, right? Poland has there's a lot of teams, but they're all in the tier 3. It seems like they haven't found yet a correct mix of players. There's a lot of talented players, but you see you have Hades and Dicha, they're on ends, right? Some of the best players are on international teams, so someone needs to come in, lure them back, put a good coach on top, give them a good structure, and I'm sure there's enough talent for Poland to have a good team. They haven't figured it out yet.
So Hades and Dicha, they play on the major, and they individually they very very good, like his team. So I'm looking for the 3 more players, and maybe they mix it, and then they will do something.
Come back up to the top.
Hope so, yeah.
Now, I know you represent the team, we see it on your top there, but how much are you involved in CSGO now? Do you still play a lot? Do you still try? I know you stream.
To be honest, I have in my mind something, maybe someone someday call me, Papito, someone is out from the event, someone is sick, so I will enjoy again this. So I'm not playing a lot right now, so I'm playing 15-20 hours per week. So right now, 15 hours, 12 hours, young players playing right now, so per day. So I'm playing 20 hours per week. So I still enjoy it. It's with football player when they retire, so they need to enjoy it. They're looking for some adrenaline. So this is the same with me. So if someone call me Papito, I am free agent. I can play and Liquid agree. I can play somewhere, for a substitute.
Yeah.
I can play and I will be very happy, very happy.
Next V4, we'll just bring you back in.
Hope so.
Or you can come sit with us. You can be on the desk with us.
Sorry?
You can be on the desk with us. You can be doing the
Yeah,
analyst stuff.
you know, I am getting older and my English is in the same level, so I need to a bit, learn.
It's fine,
like
mate.
a professional English, like a CS. So, like, I love that kind of event because here is no pressure, I can sit and chill with you, even with my shit English. So, but if I will be in ESL or somewhere, that can be, some. But we'll see. But thank you, man.
Janko made it though. You did all right.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was in the same shoes. Like,
Yeah.
I think your personality more than makes up for.
Definitely.
And everyone understands you, man. It's not that bad.
Also, the people understand.
Pasha London School is out in full swing. It had a lot of students over the years.
My most popular school in the world. London School, yeah.
There we go. And you're still looking like you're in incredible shape. You're still working out and training hard.
I stopped the gym a bit. I prepare for some MMA fight. So they offer me in Poland like a few organizations to fight somewhere about this like kind of celebrity fight, but I can also choose like the sport fight like a normal with the guy who is doing like a whole life this. So in 2 or 3 months you will see Papito somewhere in the cage.
Nice.
So I am preparing, so that's gonna be nice. I'm gonna be like a representant esport. In the sport. So.
I feel sorry for the other guy.
Yeah, big time.
Guys, this guy, which I will fight. This guy is very strong guy. This guy is not guy who is lay on the couch. So this guy is also strong, like a Hulk.
It's just weird for me. Like you're such a nice guy, to imagine I have to get all aggressive and everything like for a fight.
You know what is the worst?
So you have like those two personalities.
The worst is I don't have a haters. I don't have a guy who I don't like it too much. This is in my mind very bad because I'm always friendly. But we'll see. Hope so. If they give me like some cheater, quickly.
Just imagine his
this
face.
might be better for me, and I can prepare better. This is what I'm looking for.
You build the anger up and have the motivation for it. Now, I also want to ask you about V4, right? Because you've been here a few times. What do you think of the whole setup that V4 have here, right? Because it's very good for the region.
Very nice. This the Polish crowd and like a Hungarian crowd is pretty the same because we are like neighbors.
Yeah.
So I am looking for the event next year with full arena like everyone. So right now we have a match Gambit versus BIG, very strong opponent, top 3 and top 16, HLTV org. So enjoy the match, guys. Cheer for your heroes. And Sirson versus Shiro.
Yeah,
like everyone discussed these duels, but in this level it's very hard to say which sniper is better. It depends which players sleep better.
Well, you can tell us a bit, like for example, Gambit, the story, right? Hobbit and 4 kids,
Yeah.
like first lands for them. So how was it for you way back?
Oh, wow.
20 years ago, when you played your first lands, like can you tell the viewer like what the feeling is, what they're going through right now?
Yeah, right now that kind of event for the young players like a Gambit, they've been like 1 week ago and 2 weeks ago on the major with playing in front of thousands of people. Yeah. So right now they feel here better than like at home, to be honest.
More relaxed.
And there is some players don't like to play in front of the crowd because it's big stress really. It's people ask me, Papito, you gonna be stressing on the cage? And I say, no. Why no? Because I have it the same. I know the people from the crowd. It's the same. Probably someone want to headshot me in the real life. So. Yeah, but it's not easy, playing like I am the player who love. I always play shit on the groups. Yeah. But when I come to the playoffs, to the stage, Papito got more. Always.
And what would be your prediction on who's going to win this whole thing overall?
That's gonna be big disappointed for Gambit if they don't take it. Top three in the world it's something. Yeah. It's something. Yeah. No one be top 3 in the world right now. Right now the level of CS is brother. It's very hard. It's very hard, and being in top 3 team in the world organization it's something big.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Pasha, it's an absolute pleasure to have you with us. Thank you for coming and joining us for sure. We're going to take a look at a recap from yesterday, and then we're going to come back into the mix of everything. An absolute pleasure to have the legend that is Pasha on the show for us and come and just spread some of his knowledge, find out what he's doing. I'm still shocked about the MMA fight, you know, like
that came out of nowhere, really, right? When you asked him, I thought he was going to say, I know his brother was like really overweight, so he started working out with him. Yep. He already lost like, I don't know, 30 kilos or something.
Yeah, they put a picture up, right? Yeah.
In like a couple of months. So, yeah, and Pasha just like one of the, best characters we've had in CSGO. Just such a great guy all around. Yep. Always lights up the room whenever he comes in. So always awesome to have a chat with him whenever he can.
I can tell you some fun stories of when they were there, the 1.6 days we were in Korea, and like they were playing against the We Made Fox team. And they were just like, at the time they're facing against each other. We got no real crowd, there's like from few press and stuff. And Pasha just gets up and he's screaming and shouting at them. And they actually look terrified. Like you just got these Polish guys that dominate, and these Korean guys just, let's just look down and just keep playing the game.
Yeah, but they were notorious for that. Taz was like,
all the time.
Yeah. He was mad, yeah.
Always good fun though. But Drowlon, thanks for showing up for work, mate.
Yeah, I'm back.
How was the goulash?
Just woke up in the player lounge for some reason, and at least I woke up for the game, right? And I'm here in the end. That's what matters.
Pasha put you to sleep, yeah?
Yeah, maybe. I don't remember that actually. I just like remember writing something about Polish CS and then just darkness.
All there, it all went away. But there might be some darkness for you if today doesn't go so well, Drowlon, because today is the real tough day for your boys when you're going up against Gambit. Third best team in the world, but you do have Dust 2.
Yeah, I guess it's the biggest challenge for us coming into this event now. You know, I've seen some positive signs for us. You know, I would make the wager that we've seen a stronger big here than before, you know, in previous tournaments, especially when it comes to LAN, right?
Yep.
So, Gambit, on the other hand, such a coin flip for me, because first of all, you had those maps where they just seemed lost, you know, against these underdogs, and then they go to the second or the third map of the series and they just like absolutely bang them out. So you don't really know what Gambit you're going to get now. Granted, you know, it was Dust 2, right, which was not the strongest one for
And then we got the Entropic Fiend game, Yanko, which, when we look at these, all of these games have potential bangs on it, because people may look at Entropic and think like, yeah, okay, they did very well at the major, good results coming through, but Fiend, they're on LAN, they're motivated as hell. I think we're going to have like a big brawl on our hand.
Yeah, exactly. That second game is also really difficult to call, because Fiend has always stepped up to the challenge, right? I mean, beating Movistar with like 10 rounds on T-side nuke yesterday was something that we never expected them to beat them in such a manner.
Yeah.
And then Tropic, you look at them, they have 4 players in the top 10 of this tournament. But that's inflated because of the Sinners game was the Mirage and Enterprise Mirage. Those were like 2 stomps, really. So are they really playing that well individually? You know, today is going to be a bigger test for them.
Well, let's start by focusing on Big Clan in this game, right? Because we saw this interview came out yesterday on HLTV, you know? Clickbait or not clickbait, depending on how you want to look at it.
All clickbait. Shame on you, HLTV. You were supposed to be the shining light, you know, the one source
it's all about headlines
of solid info.
You want to read the article.
All you need to know about this matchup, well, not all, but Navi has lost 2 series since the player break. One to Gambit in a meaningless like CIS final that wasn't for anything.
Yep.
And one to Big in the group stages of ESL Pro League, which also wasn't a super important game, but Big kind of laid out the blueprint in my mind how you needed to play Navi at the time, and probably even now it was a lot of aggression on the CT side. Maps were Mirage and Dust 2, right? And they really kind of caught Navi sleeping a little bit with the aggression. So, yeah, I think they're a team that when they can prepare well and when they're in the zone, they can beat pretty much everyone. So that's something for Gambit. That's why I said they can't have another one of their slow starts that they've had this tournament.
And we got to touch on Sirison in the sense that he literally at the beginning, I wasn't too sure, but I'm not saying that.
Shout out to AKJ
some people will throw that out there for sure. But Sirison actually, right, in the last series, just absolutely dominated. He was styling, he was back in the form where you say that was the same as what he provided back on the online side of things. So we need to see that today, right? That has to be an absolute must for him.
Yeah, Shiro coming to this tournament like on a hot streak, you know, obviously like posting the best map of his career so far against, I think it was Isuba, the first stage.
Probably,
Yeah, on Overpass, right? No, so he's firing on all cylinders, and then you have Sirson, obviously, very different type of opera. I guess Sirson just likes to take more liberties on the CT side, you know, a lot more aggression on Mirage, on Dust 2. Those are maps where you see him just like making like very risky, like high risk, high reward plays.
You know, the more politically correct way to say that is not like Sirson is better than Shiro, right? You just say, I don't think he's worse. basically, right? But you know, the jokes aside, right? Sirsin is a very capable opera. I don't think the margin is too big. Like Shiro has been incredible this tournament, highest rated player of the tournament, right? But I think they both are very effective for their teams, right? Very efficient in their roles. They get the job done in the opping department, so it's going to be like some small margins. I think the win is going to come from somewhere else, not really them underperforming or overperforming.
Well, let's find out what Gade from Big Clan was thinking. And I do love this, that we're getting all the interviews with Gade now, because the Germans just seem to be like, oh, Gade, you can speak English, Danish, and I would just push you to do it all.
Yeah, I mean, Fiend, we played them not that long ago. I think it's 1.5 months ago, and we lost 2-0. So we were really looking forward to a rematch. We know they are really like playing a bit of untraditional CS, I would say. They take a lot of duels, and they're really trying to punish you just from standing in an open field, and you really have to just be prepared and look at your crosshair and be ready for a duel. And I think we managed to shut that down every now and then, but you also see us losing against some pistols, and that makes the match so much closer. It's hard to say. I think we've always been we've been struggling a little bit against with anti-ecos when the guys have deagles and low buys. We every now and then just end up getting multi-killed and have a 3 versus 5, and it's really tough to turn the round back. But I think in terms of post plans and such, it was okay yesterday against the Super, and today was also decent, I would say. But I think, yeah, Susan played a good game and does too, and I think Mirage just came down to us making a good comeback on CT. We had a bit of slow start. The rounds came back and forth, and I think we pulled it back on the T side with some good calls from Tefson.
Giving us a bit of insight there on how the team are feeling overall for this and how some of their games have been going. And I feel like what I see, even when we see the team outside, they look very calm, they look very well like together. There's no stress so far. They feel like they're in a good zone, especially after coming off that second place at DreamHack Open. I was worried if they didn't do well at DreamHack Open, they'd come into this and it'd be a bit shaky, but they still like the confidence is high.
I think like there's a good reason for that confidence, right? They're the only like top team here which are yet to lose in this tournament. You know, everyone else have shown signs of weakness. You know, Gambit, Entropic, Movistar is already out, right? So I guess they're the only ones who have that confidence, right? It's like, okay, well, we have survived, you know, the underdog like Zerg rush, right? So now we're in a position where, you know, we don't have to reveal too much of our tactics. We're in a position where you don't have to, like, they haven't really challenged our map pool yet, you know, and you're coming into this game against Gambit where I guess you have a bit of an upper hand here.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be all about the maps. Really, Gambit has the upper hand, but we've heard from both Gade and NKJ in interviews. They put in a lot of work over the past 2 weeks on their map pool, and Tabson, I think, also said that even though, you know, Overpass statistically looks bad for them, they're actually feeling good on the map, they're feeling confident. So this is going to be the series where they'll have to prove it, really.
Definitely will have to prove it, but also Hobbit and Gambit have a lot to improve because they've not had the greatest time. They've won a lot of the other maps. When it comes to Dust 2, it's been a bit up and down and maybe awkward at times, so let's see what he's thinking.
We prepared it, we practiced it a lot. It's all about play style, you know. We didn't adapt for it. I mean, we played versus like a lot of mind game there in Dust 2, but here they just destroyed us with their aim. Yes, to be honest, we just stayed calm. We understood that we lost Dust 2 because we didn't adapt for them, and big respect for them. They have a huge aim, a lot of headshots. So, and Inferno, we knew that we're gonna play from tactic part, and we knew that it's gonna work. Yeah, we didn't play versus BIG before, so it's gonna be interesting game for sure. We practiced a lot with each other, and we totally understand how we're playing. I mean, we know each other for 100%, I think.
So Hobbit there, just putting it down to a bit more of just the headshot capability of these teams rolling in there. But from what we saw, there was a few more mistakes being seen on Dust 2.
Yeah, I mean, just struggling to adapt a little bit, but it does feel like in all the Gambit games, you know, they lose or they start losing, and then as soon as they decide to start playing, they just stomp the opponent. That's why I can't really hold it against them too much. Like if the wins weren't as clean, then I could say okay, but it just seems like a slow start. And what he said also is important, that they haven't actually faced each other in official games, but you play against teams in practice, so you remember, you know, you have to recycle some of the teams. And both Big and Gambit, in my experience, are teams that are good practice partners, right? Like I remember Gambit when they were still youngsters, you know, I tried to get as much practice against them because they're playing in a sensible way. You have teams who are in practice and it's just like can't get anything done because players are running around, just doesn't make any sense what they're doing. So they would practice each other probably often. So despite not playing in officials, you still know how they like to react, what style they like to run. So I think they'll be decently familiar with each other regardless.
Yeah, like Janko said, I think they have a good idea of each other's play style. It really comes down to the individuals in this tournament, And on the big side, I guess the good news is that Keto is like the top performing player so far. And usually when you look at big, right, the standout names in terms of fragging is tabs and answers, and those are the ones usually on top of the leaderboard. And I guess the X factor, which is like a huge win condition, is if you have Keto performing, then there's a high chance that you actually like win the map. And then also you have Tizian coming in with a great performance, just being the best on the team in terms of opening up the rounds, had like a 70%, like actually one of the best players in this whole tournament when it comes to like winning that opening duel, so yeah, that's something we had to look forward to in this map.
Yeah, I think for Gambit on the other side of things, what I want to see is like, I don't know where to put Exile at the moment.
Yeah.
Because at the first half of the year, he was the clear second star of the team, right?
Yep.
I mean, Tim, Shiro, Hobe, that mad trio that was winning them tournaments, right? And we draw a lot of similarities between Shiro and Exile to Simple and Electronic, not in a sense of, like he's the next Simple and he's as good as Simple. No, of course not. But just stylistically, they share some spots as well. The style seems to be a little bit similar, right? So, and he hasn't been on that. Like, he hasn't been a reliable second star. Like, Hobbit obviously kind of has, but I think if they can find a way, if Exile can find a way to put up some of those performances again, that's gonna go a long way to helping Gambit. Like, sure, they get a little bit more on land from Nafani, but he's in that entry fragger, like in-game leader role, right? Like, that's great, but I think for the team overall, they would win more if it was the other way around.
Definitely. Well, let's start to get ourselves closer to this semi-final game. Let's bring on our first team as they enter the stage. Please welcome on Big Clan. Smiles on Tabson's face at least, but it seems like Big Clan are ready and are so confident when it comes to this semi-final game. But it isn't going to be an easy matchup, and they've got to face Gambit, the number 3 ranked team in the world. And although they've had some up and downs during this event, they certainly have dominated in the maps they have won. Can they do it here? Let's welcome them to the stage.
Dark Wave. Break it down. Dark Wave.
a high-pressured game for Gambit. The stakes are high, and they are supposed to be the favourites, but it may not be that easy. And having to face Big in the semi-finals comes off the back of them losing their opening best-of-1, right? They kind of sealed their own fate in having to go through a task they probably didn't expect to meet until the finals.
Just wanted more games, James. That's all like on land, and I think in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't matter for them when they face Big or who they face. I mean, they're here to win the tournament, right? They're clear and obvious favorites. So, you know, all of these teams are teams they're supposed to beat. So I think it's just about whether they'll actually be able to pull it off.
Yeah, and on the big side of things, you know, we obviously, you're going 3-0, you know, in the group stage. But my concern is, like we pointed out in the post-test segments, you know, it's like the way they played some of those post plans on Mirage against Finn, you know, left more to be desired. And one thing I'm concerned about specifically is just like the way they convert those pistol rounds, because like right now they are 4-2 in pistol rounds, you know, 4 wins, 2 losses, and out of those 4 wins, there's only 1 pistol round where they actually managed to convert it into a second round, you know. And especially CT side, you know, you want those rounds to like just build off that 1 pistol, get those 3 rounds, you know.
We're going to take a look at the head-to-head with our AWPers here in Shiro and Sirison. But you know what I do love, outside of just having this on a head-to-head? Sirison, I was just looking at his stats from the last 3 months when it comes to weapons he uses. There is not another player, right, at this level that does not use the AK and M4 like he does. He's using pistols, obviously the scout mode he plays into with it. Do you think at some point he should just admit that every now and again you might pick up a Galil or an AK?
No. Because he's so annoying with that scout. Like, I've witnessed it. We had to play them like 3 times when they were the best team in the world, of course. Like when they were all firing on all cylinders. And every second round, we win pistol around the CT, Searson gets a scout, kills one guy through the smoke, kills the other guy with a headshot, and he's like, you're 3v5, what you gonna do? And no, I actually have no problem. Listen, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter which gun he uses. It's like, is he doing his job in the round? Is he helping his team in the round? Yes. So what's the problem? Why does he need to use a Galil or an AK, right? I think in the rounds where he has it, he's not like JDM that he doesn't know how to use a rifle. Throwback to JDM just for no reason, reaming him out. But yeah, I think he's capable with the rifles. He's better with the scout.
Yeah, here's the thing that people forget, you know, Sirson wasn't always an AWPer. If you think back to those Attax days, he was actually a rifler, right? Like actually also in that entry role, and then through that coach, who shall not be named.
Just like Simple.
Yeah. he transformed into like an AWPer, right? And then that's where he really made his name under Sprout, you know, just doing that AWP impact. And I think he definitely has like the capacity to rifle again. It's just like, why would you, like you said, if you're so good with scouts and AWPs, you know, just like have him use that.
Well, this is the exciting part. It's one we've been waiting for to see what maps we are going to get. So let's check out the veto and see how this has gone down. We see Gambit going for the Ancient pick, Big with the Dust 2, which is no surprise, and an Inferno Decider coming into play.
Well, this is really interesting because Gambit had one of the unique problems, which like, what should we pick? There's all these good maps to pick, and we see the surprise from Big is like actually vetoing out Overpass, the map they said they were really confident on, and leaving Ancient, which was their ban lately, right? And Gambit just doesn't hesitate. They go straight for the punish. Big, no surprise with the Dust 2 pick, and in the end, Gambit vetoes Mirage because both Vertigo and Inferno, Vertigo obviously one of their best map, most likely, insane win rate this year, and Inferno is again a weaker map for Big. So the only thing I'm wondering is this like a trap card from Big with the Ancient, like leaving it in, expecting Gambit to pick it, and they're just kind of prepared. Even if you don't play a map much, I shouldn't have like kind of tried to play it and they went away from it. It's like you can, for one opponent, for that one game, you can maybe like just get enough done that you can have a surprise pick. So if you're Gambit, it just tells you that they're really confident, even if that comes into play, and they just wanted to call the bluff, really.
Drowlum, no surprises there, really.
No surprises. Unbiased, of course, completely. No, I mean, my rationale here, you know, I think this is the best Big we've seen with this lineup so far. Obviously, we have had like good online results, right? We think of the Blast qualifiers, I mean the Blast fall groups. But when it came down to like actual LAN play, I think what I saw here, you know, is like some of the best CS I've seen from us so far. I think this is our best chance to tank on a team like Gambit.
Well, they're going to have to show it. Thank you very much for your thoughts, guys. It's time for us to get into this series. We're starting with Ancient and it's Gambit's pick, so let's get over with Dweg and Jay.
Thanks, Banks. Yes, this is going to be a fun one. It could well been a grand final matchup. We almost saw it in the group stage, but both Big and Gambit have managed to avoid each other up until this point, but only one team will go into the top 2 to egg. All eyes on Gambit. Most of us, except for Drowlon, predicting into the Gambit side. I do admit that there have been some slow starts from Gambit, which did make me doubt things a little bit, but looking at that veto, I think I'm very confident now that Gambit could take this.
Yeah, eyes on the veto for me. Ancient coming through, I was a little bit surprised about that. I thought we'd probably get an overpass or a vertigo pick coming through, and then even as a decider, looking at knowing Inferno's coming through, this looks really promising to come out for the Gambit side.
100%. I just think about how difficult it has been for Ancient for the big camp. Like, they've won more cash than they have Ancient as of late, which really goes to show how difficult this map is for them. And as a result, like, I just look at this pick, I see it's a very big punish pick for the Gambit side. I see them struggling on Dust 2 because we have not seen great Dust 2 from them as of late, especially in this tournament, you know. I feel like this is going to be a Gambit series. They might concede it to third map, but Gambit should have this one pretty nicely wrapped up. And with the pressure on these guys as well off the back of the major, knowing that they are the top 3 team in the world, they have to go to the grand final. It's not even an option for them.
And you have to start looking at some of the numbers. Again, Big have only played 3 maps this event, where Gambit have played 6. Shiro is the highest rated player in this side, and for Big, the highest rated player is Keto at 9th. And he's a guy that's only gone positive 13 with the KD differential, where for Shiro, he's positive 71. The stats just are completely different between the top players on both of these teams.
Yeah, obviously the AWP battle is going to be a very big concern. Obviously, NKJ on HLTV last night was discussing how his opinion was that he thought Searson was better on the AWP, and I feel like that might be tested in this particular matchup. We'll get to see how far that they can go with it. It's the pistol round before we get into any AWPs, into any rifles. We're Big on the T side start, Big over to the defensive line. Let's get towards our first map of our first semi-final, what could be a banger. Strap in.
And it all just comes down to the start. We know for Gambit, they've been fantastic with some of these pistol rounds. You have a look at where they sit so far. They're second in the event, 9-1 to 3 loss. They know that they can get off to some good starts.
Now towards elbow on the default for Gambit. Set themselves up pretty nicely in passive positions. Leave one lurker out towards lane, put some utility onto the mid control. Flashes and smokes is appropriate. I believe the smoke towards cross candles and over at the... Ooh, that's actually missed for donut position. Keto going to get goose down for it. Quick peek in for Gambit regardless, finding the advantage.
There's still a lack of information on what's going on with the play. Tabson falling back where the flash comes through, getting that cheater control fast into the B side. Tabson getting that first point and cool, needs to try and get a double up, but it doesn't happen.
And now 4 versus 4 with a major HP advantage for Gambit. Axar will find gain and continue tapping, but doesn't land any more kills for his own right. Searson there with a trade, and a 3-on-3 scenario can ensue. Again, the low HP of Keto is going to become a factor, and he leans into candles, looks ahead, looking for the players coming back over towards window, knows the rotation is inbound, can't quite seem to spot out the kills. He's missing a couple of crucial headshots, so they can get into the A site.
There's just no util or even a kit to work with for this city side, so getting into this defensive is going to be tough. Map control being gained out from that donut position. Difficult retake for Big.
Sheriff spotted. Keto finally turns the advantage to Gambit for permanent this time. Searson and Tizian waiting for their contact peaks, and they will start to move ahead here at A lane. It's Tizian back towards that donut entrance. And then the back lines of the site itself is Inters looking to be the closest player though in it. Temple. Glock turned away from the man. Tizian can trade it once again, but now we'll get sandwiched. Tapping that bomb, one trying to force Shiro out into the open. He takes a ton of damage, but now Hobbit can strike. Get his first. Shiro can double up, and it can be a pistol for Gambit.
Yeah, that was a great mid-round call coming through from Gambit. It seemed as if they took that early defensive into Candles and from Donut. They realized pretty quickly, ooh, the smoke actually didn't land, so we're going to start slowing it down. We're going to get some of the cheater control. We're going to put pressure down towards B. They find that the trades go back and forth. They then bring that bomb back out to the A side. Now, fun fact as well for Gambit, Jay, going into this second round, is that they are first in the event for round 2 conversions. 9-1 and 0 loss. They have never lost a second round when they win pistol.
Talk very heavily about how Gambit had their early start snatched away from them many different times. So this will be one of those rounds for Big. Keto headshot, and the second man, Axar, will drop. 5-on-3 being gained. AK straight for Nafadi, can trade it back at least. It's going to be a 2-for-1 for Big, though. They have the control.
And Nafadi's got to try and make a play, and Shiro backs him up onto Searson. Gate overextending. This was a 5-on-3 at one point for Big.
Tabson and Tizian out towards the mid position, forced to rotate back into a flank angle. Hobbit's going to give chase out towards mid. He has spotted one individual. The bomb should get planted whenever Nafani's ready. There's a bit of a gap in that smoke, so he could get spotted out here. Scout leans in. Bomb does go down. Nafani's foot's been seen. The headshot does not come back, though. Shiro could get the trade. And it's Tizian in a 1 versus 3 now.
This backstep's pretty much in the round. Tizian trying to turn around. Not going to happen at all. Gambit finding their second. I would say disappointing there for Big. Keto has a great sequence on sort of the off angle out from Donut. He's able to get a couple of fantastic banging shots. What happens with the follow-up? You have a 5-on-3, and then where's everybody else? Where's the support?
Nowhere to be seen. That's a great start and everything for him. You can watch the sequence again. Like you mentioned, the trades are so great for Gambit, and, well, in that 3v2 scenario, there was no way that they were going to get back in. Pistol, straight USPs across the board now for Big. No Kevlar here. PC utility for Tabson, but that's it. Max Tenashiro goes straight into us. Donut gets a triple, almost a quadra. Running out of ammo, but the USP can still finish the job. Plenty of money being gained by him, and it's standard anti-eco status 3-0 to the start for Gambit. Big have the guns out in round 4.
I wonder if Shiro is one of these people that looks at that interview that Enk and Jay had and said, you know what, I'm going to prove him wrong. I'm going to really step up today. Because often when you do say things like that, it could fuel the other person.
It's a case of which way it goes. Will it detriment? Will it improve? Will it bolster up your teammates? Will it bolster up your squad? Will it go the other way in Gambit? Well, light a fire underneath them. We'll have to find out as time does go on. Right now, the start has been to the favor of the Russian camp. 3-0 at this moment, and the buy should be received by Gambit in the next round. I did see a DC from their side of the field, so I think there might be a small tech pause involved here. Get that fixed up very quickly. Been very efficient with these tech pauses, so it shouldn't take too much longer. Yeah, standard start for Gambit, and it's so great because Drowl mentioned that stat earlier about Gambit's second round conversions in the pistols. It's nice to see them convert that second and get the anti-eco as well.
Yeah, and for Gambit, just trying to work with what they've got so far. For Big, we know that they recently played that DreamHack Open November event. Gade was #1 for most clutches, won at 8. We also saw Sirison coming through with the most AWP kills per round, so definitely a couple of individuals to watch out for. Gade, this event, hasn't quite found that top level so far. He's ranked 27th out of the highest rating out of the 40 players we have.
Indeed. Right now, ranking of 8 to the board of one particular individual on the Gambit side. He's definitely stepped up, surpassing all of his teammates and everything. Things do look pretty fantastic, in spite of the lopsidedness from Shiro. The guns out from Gambit. Respond to the guns of Big. Mostly bonus weapons for the T side, with the damage, of course, being reinvested into. They have the AWP out for both teams, Keto and Shiro here, interestingly enough. Double AWP setup, in fact, for the Big camp. Keto's going to be the man that aggresses.
Yeah, I see a lot of AWPing when it comes to the secondary players down towards this A anchor roll. Keto going very aggressive. Axel peeking through. Keto missing. Needs to try and get back to safety. Oh, it's not going to happen at all. Just getting hunted down. You can't afford to miss shots like that when you go aggro.
And that might already be the A side taken. Tinsy and the last player standing in this siege, and all sorts of util thrown back by Gambit. Flashes will keep him blind and allow that kill to come in easy for Nafani. Already Big calling the save. Hobbit's hearing the footsteps back towards the B side. It's going to be a 4th round for Gambit, and Big are struggling in this early game.
Yeah, often when you're going aggressive out towards A main, you're trying to make an info play. You're trying to get a 1-for-1. You can buy time with some of the rotations, try and stay alive. And as soon as we see that missed shot, just look at how quickly Gambit accelerate through. They're able to then get that trade out, or at least that entry frag to the donut player, really being able to open up that bomb site, even looking hunting, trying to take more weapons out of play, really crunch down and destroy this economy. Gambit, they're looking feisty.
And Big setup relied entirely on Keto getting that opening frag and retreating back into the A site with the AWP intact. The fact that he missed out on that first shot and got killed and traded, not a good start for Big in the gun rounds here. We will see most of the rifles staying in for Gambit. I think they lost a Galil in this one, so nothing major being conceded at this. Try hunt for that last individual. Gade, no, not too far forward for them. But yeah, Big, lost bonus. A little bit scuffed here. I think they might be on for a force buy, though.
Yeah, they can buy it down. Gade can drop a rifle. Sirison can do the same. You're able to get one of those individuals to force buy up themselves. And for Big, they had, you could say, the quicker time getting into the semi-finals. They played that best of 1 against a Subaru on Mirage, 16-10 there. They got a 2-0 over Fiend in that upper bracket final game. One of those maps, the Mirage, was relatively close. Dust 2, it felt like they were quite confident even when they came back from a deficit. Where for Gambit, they've had to play Fiend. They lost that game in the upset, beat Asuba and beat Enterprise in the BO3s.
I'm going to work real hard for the Gambit side. I mean, it's kind of surprising. You would have thought that Gambit would have had the easy road in this tournament. Just indicative of how those best of 1s went down. Of course, so many upsets during that stage of the tournament.
Well, realistically, I think we looked at it and thought this is going to be the game that meets in the upper bracket final.
Yeah,
in the group.
100%. The best of 5, Gambit and Big, would not have surprised you. Flashes In from Hobbit, that elbow position. Nades out from him as well as the finally swings out to the A side. And there won't be a force buy from Big. They're going to go half-seas in this round with the upgrade pistols. So seeing what the rifles can do. Kito's already been tagged up heavily. Searson, however, does catch the first frag. And that second, engaging against the AWP battle. And there you go. NKJ vindicated for a moment. Heard Axar coming in for the bomb plant. Has not spotted his man. Can't go for the wall back. Tizian's Deagle pushes forward. And Hobbit gets caught off for it. 2 players standing. No trades for Gambit. Finally, Fani comes up with 1. But it will be a 1 out of 5 that he needs to find incendiaries to force him even further out into the open. There is damage done to the AWP here. And pistols and the Mac start moving in. AK picks up Tizzy and just domes him in straight in the head. Triple up for Searson in this round. And the first round goes the way of Big.
Yeah, that was actually very well played in from Big. Now, notice as well, they didn't even force buy there. They just upgraded some slight pistols around the weapons that got saved in. Gades, M4 and S wasn't even able to find impact. It was actually Searson with the AWP playing incredibly passive. Now, that corner really of getting the rotation in from City Spawn into the A site was not smoked off. And because of that, that sideline was just being held. The way that he re-peeks back into the AWP onto Shiro, finds a multi-frag, and then the pistols just support him.
Double orbs can return right back for the Big side. Searson's AWP definitely is justified in this case. I am worried about where Kito plays his one, though. He's only seen him in a very limited capacity on the rounds. See where he goes with that, or whether he tries to progress once again towards the A side. He is placed out towards A main, but much more passively on the side defensive itself. The majority of T-Press leans in from B duels and B lane. Well, the CT is playing pretty passive. You don't want to peek to this angle.
Yeah, definitely Kito won't be aggressive every round. You normally see more aggression out to sort of that lane area for the B players rather than A. You want to play quite defensive, quite passive in around the big box or that temple area. Gambit, one of the first times we're actually seeing some presence early round going out to the B side.
And Nades up, the Fani starts walking with the AK. Leading that charge up towards the red room. What's this? And AWP set to the edge of the scaffolding. NK will try and extend further forward. Will he catch off the man? Nice boost up for the Fani. Will look over. Recognize that no one's on that left side of the cheater position. As Hobbit wins that first fight on Tizian. Nice dry face. Good kill.
Now they're going to be able to bait Searson quite aggressive with this AWP. This could work out nicely for Nafani. It all comes down to how aggressive that AWP is. And now even look at Hobbit. He's getting deep CT control.
Yeah, they recognize that there's probably a backstab in, so Searson's going to cover that off instead. They'll concede most of cave control. They'll leave Tabson peeking in on occasion. You'll see the flashbangs coming in from his opposition. Finally walks out middle. Gonna get towards Donut here. There's no one contesting that angle. It's so passive and big.
They want to put emphasis on A and get Hobbit to deal with the rotates down from that B side. Kito's alone. He's the only player here.
Gotta step up like the AWP should do. Frag on the first, drops that bomb, sees one man back in Donut as well. Kito with a double, leans in with a triple, catches Axel in the shoulder, and that's more than enough. Hobbit overwhelmed by Searson, leaves Shiro now in his own 1v4 clutch. Tabson able to deal with him before he gets any more trades. That's a confident second for Big as well.
And when you walk out of A main like that, it's going to be difficult to put pressure onto the AWP. You need to get that trade in immediately rather than going in with the util. They actually go in dry, and they just can't trade him. It seems as if Nafani's read that position. He's trying to hug the wall out from Donut, give himself an angle to try and work with on that right-hand side. And Kito still finds the connection, even with that third pick coming through onto Axel. The AWP is putting up some good sequences for Big.
He might have whiffed it in the aggression in that first gun round, but here they stand confident and strong. Gambit taking a bit of a tactical pause as well, a bit of a moment of respite. Where do they go with this? Obviously, a lot of work will need to be done here from them. They have still got the lead, at least. They have that silver lining.
Yeah, Kito's currently ranked 5th in the event for percentage of multi-kill rounds. So something that we can expect from him, definitely playing A anchor on Ancient, is just being able to get those multi-frags, get those man advantage forwards before he falls.
If he keeps hitting those AWP shots, then it's going to be a difficult task for Gambit to find him. Get into our 7th round of the game. Both sides with guns out. Inters with a Deagle, as there might be some major problems in terms of firepower, but then again, the Deagles have been pretty impressive so far in this matchup. Will Inters add more of those plays to the list? It's blind fire from Tabson initially and Cheetah. Nades up towards lane. Dishing out a tiny amount of damage to Hobbit in the early part of this one by Big, but Gambit play out their defaults without a casualty here. They might look to take that first frag instead.
Yeah, that HE doesn't quite land where he would have wanted it to be. Spam coming through, boost up over the top. He's got to be aware of it because Nafani just catches him off.
Yeah, they didn't see the boost the first time they used it for Gambit, so they know they can use it a second time, and Tabson is indeed just shut out off guard. Opening start here for the T's. Now the AWP starts leaning in to try to find its own moment of glory. Shiro in the back lane, seeing nothing of the CT forces, though. Again, they're passive. But also
Look at
they're
Hobbit.
not. Aggression from the from Tizian here. He's going to try and catch Hobbit off guard. This could cut off the whole rotation. It's an easy frag. It's a man advantage.
Yeah, Hobbit was actually holding that angle for a very long period of time. Just got caught off by the timing. Tizian making the aggressive move. Gains the same. Not quite that second.
Nice transfer. There's damage to Shiro, though. The AWP misses. Shot. The Deagle's going to fire back instead. And Shiro will find the trade. The trades have been pretty respectable here by Gambit. They've actually forced Tizian to be the only player left. A 1v2 for this retake. B has been overwhelmed. And Shiro is missing his shot. Still, the M4 can't catch the frag. And Axel bails out his teammate. Puts that fifth on the board. Gambit back on track.
You can't blame Tizian in that round at all, Jay. He's the one that's aggressing down from elbow. He catches the lurk off from the A main area of Hobbit. He's trying to be that backstab supporting player. He needs his teammates on that A site to hold, to get the trades, to allow that backstab in from T-Spawn, get back in from lane, whatever it may be, and instead they just crumble. He has to then try and step up in that 1v2, and for Gambit, even though the AWP misses the shot, Axel is there for the trade instantly to peek on the contact.
Rebuy from Big will feature the exact same setup as they have done time and time again. They love these double orbs, and they have been pretty effective to their credit. Look at that, a little bit better to try and usurp Gambit in the lead. 3 rounds to get there. Galil's on Inters again is a limiting factor here. He's been the limiting man here for Gambit so far in this matchup. He's always taken the Deagles or the Galil, or just not quite the AKs and AWPs you want to see from a T side. It is working to his teammates' benefit, though, and overall to the team, they still hold the 3-round lead.
While I do love the double orb setup, I know that Fiend that comes up in the next game is definitely going to be able to show that in their best of 3. The economy situation has to be a talking point if they're not following rounds up, because their economy can just get rolled over. Gambit trying to put some force down into this cheater angle. Doing a pretty good job with flashing Sirison off, just baiting him with the AWP and getting that idea of where he's playing from.
Further flashes in, he still holds his position. Finally fall back out. Well, he's trying to indicate that he is. Draw a second player indoors instead. Doesn't matter to the Gambit side. They've escaped out the lane position, gone through window out towards Donut. Tizian struggles with his frag, but comes up against Stefani. Hobbit's also been tagged to 19, so it's a start out with an advantage for Big. They're also tagged pretty heavily, though. There's 2 trades on Keto and Tizian available.
Yeah, slight bait and switch with that dual setup coming through from the Donut area. Tizian needs to find another. It could be difficult with him being so low.
Leans in. Shiro will catch the frag instead with a blind fire from that Galil's part. AWP of Keto. Desperate to hold on to the man advantage, but he can't do it. Axel pushed out of main, chimes in on him, doubles up to Gade. And now it's a 4v2 for Gambit's part. The CT's extended so far out towards lane and CT, but siphoned off from each other so far away from the retake. Searson's going down, and Tabson has no choice but to save.
Axel's looking fantastic so far here on Ancient. He's been one of those entities that has been fantastic over the course of the history for Gambit. In this event, maybe not so much, and even this hunt in from Hobbit, this should be an easy pick to come through into Tabson, a 6th round being gained, and then we start looking at the economy again and say, okay, things look alright for Sirison, Tabson and Gade are looking decent. For Tizian and Keto, things can't really be said the same.
6th up to the board of the Gambit side. Axon in particular was looking great in this round. He was the man that pretty much opened up the site and got the round together for his team. Triple overall. They definitely deserve the credit for that 3rd frag. Extending that lead to 4 rounds now for the Russian side. Big. They found a bit of a formula to work with in their first couple of rounds that they got. Try and find a new one or replicate that to better success as tactical pause is taken. Moment to readjust. You mentioned the economy game and how that double orb setup is going to continue to deficit the Big side. I don't think they can afford it again.
No, and they've got to try and see if they can quiet down some of these players. Axel, in that last round, really showing up what he can do with that lurk out from A main. Currently 5th in the event for most headshots per round at 0.37. His crosshair placement is something special.
Straight in with the buys back again. No double orb setup for Big. Got SMG for Tizian as he becomes the limiting element. Rifles up, smokes in. Inter's going to challenge Tabson. He's gone for those wallbangs pretty consistently. Nades on elbow. Not doing any damage at all. Shiro comes up good against Keto. Kicks things off on the right foot.
He's winning a lot of opening man advantages for this T side. Going to try and see if they can boost up again. I don't know if they'll be able to reward themselves twice.
Farney should be at least suspected by Tizian. He already fell towards him once so far. Continuous boost over. Continuing walking out to try and look for the individual himself. But no contact given up by the SMG. Molotov will come in instead. It goes off to the right. He's still sitting on the left-hand side. And they start to back away.
Oh, Tabson's actually trying to draw the bait, so he actually puts his feet in the molly to draw the attention over for Nafani.
This could be perfect. All comes down to whether Tizian finds the pick. He's waiting so patiently. Nafani, another bit of utility. A flashbang thrown over. He turns around, but way too late. Tizian comes up with a pick, smokes down the angle, evens again as the executor's inbound.
Oh, what a perfect bait in from Big, and now they're just trying to see if they can evade the flashes. Tabson out on the right lane, at least gets away with one.
Justified a passivness from the Big setup. A man advantage sits towards their favour. Bomb could go down unless the wall bangs turn around. Axel even taps on the second man. Didn't hear the tag though. Tabson swings on the side, gets his frag, turns around 180. Searson catches that next. And it's Shiro now with his own AWP in a 1 versus 1. The AWPers taking each other on 17 seconds. Shiro's got to get the bomb plant. He's tapped it once again, looking at information gain. Scope's heard. Tap it a second time, stick it, Searson. So close! Oh, Shiro! No scope to his head, a triple up for the clutch, and Gambit continue the streak.
Oh, he's making a statement here, isn't he? 14 kills and 2 deaths. Shiro, he's doing everything. Opening man advantages, trade situations, clutches coming through. That now puts him up to 11 clutches won in this event, and this is only their 7th map. The nearest player behind him in most clutches won is Oscar at 3. Shiro's got 11 this event.
14 frags in this game as well. Man, he's come alive. And Big are continuing to struggle here. Pistols now out, half buy in this round. Deagles, 5.7s, P250s. Kevlar on the body, not towards the head. Straight into the B site. They've already found the entries. They could put the bomb down from here.
Trying to see if they could bait in an over-rotation down to that A main position. Keto extended up. There is still that one individual of Axile that's waiting for that aggressive move. Shiro with the AWP pushing through the smoke. Picks being found relatively easy. There is at least one drop that comes in the P250. And knowing it's an eco, you're just trying to do as much damage in as possible. Not a lot, though.
Doesn't matter too much for the T side, however. Nafani has the Mac 10, so he can swap back to that AWP. Tizian will drop Axile, so they get an AK out of this one. If Tizian can just save the weapon, that would be enough, I think, for Big in this context. It does mean that Gambit are going to get to 8 on their T side. And we do know that CT basis is quite high for this map. We saw during the online cup, for instance, how CT-sided Ancient was. So for Gambit to win the half at this stage, it's not a good outlook for Big.
No, not at all. I don't even think we finished the cup. We were getting halfway through and it was something 65% to that CT side. So knowing where we sit now in the actual LAN event, that it's only a couple of rounds, things don't look that promising coming through from Big. They've got to try and get some of these players up. Gade, 1-1 and 7. We've got to see some more from him.
And again, the AWPer comparison sees Shiro going a country mile above Searson's part. I think it's double up on his kill count with the clutch factors involved as well. Gambit just hold their own. Out towards the defaults, mostly centered around the A site. They've got Keto, that might be the man to step up. Searson's orbs pressed aggressive towards window. He might catch Inters off guard. Oh, he turned away, but the AK doesn't lean in.
It all just comes down to a matter of timing and who's going to peek first. Searson trying to turn away from the flash. Inter's now getting some util in for the support. Searson down from the elbow, misses his chance.
Got info on 2 players, though. The T's could potentially sandwich in against them. Keto finds action on the A defensive. Meanwhile, Nafani there for that trade and continues to wrap into Donut. Searson has repositioned to try and hold this defensive. Tabson will catch Inters meanwhile, so there are trades that are coming in for Big. They've maintained the advantage. Nafani's going to fight for it back, so gets that first. Shiro gets that second, and the bomb goes down.
Oh, the trading game is so on point here for Gambit. The way that they use their util down to that donut position and even check all angles just in case there's a dual setup. Gambit up to 9. This T side is red hot.
Big might bring in a lot of trouble here. Bang on the money with that analogy. Red hot T side, 9 to the board of Gambit. And you start questioning what Big can really do. Is this first map already a write-off?
Oh, no, I don't think so. Big have definitely got more to prove. The problem here with Ancient is Big just do not have a lot of map experience on it. They've only played it once when it comes to the last 3 months. It was typically one of the maps they banned, either that or an Inferno as a recent history. And knowing that they weren't able to win that official either on Ancient puts them at a 0% win rate. Definitely a punish pick in from Gambit. Again, when you have a look at the veto, you thought to yourself, okay, Overpass could get picked in, Vertigo's an option. They go in for Ancient, just knowing the Big don't play this map.
It's not like it's like a particularly proficient map for the likes of Gambit either. Like,
they've only played it 4 times.
Yeah, they've only played it 4 times, and they managed to beat teams like Team 1 and Indie Array. When it comes to top level competition, they've lost to the likes of NIP, even lost to Copenhagen Flames in the past. So the map is not like it's a brilliant one for Gambit. It is legitimately a punish pick, and they are punishing hard right now. Big back on pistols for the players that fell. And the AWP of Shiro doesn't see the info to the individuals. Gade and Tabson will start their walk out. Spotted, shot connects so easily. Gade can find a trade at least. Second weapon up for him. They're bottlenecking themselves in towards the doorway, and he actually does get that secondary frag. Hobbit's hoping he overextends, but Tizian is so close to position. Smokes up, Deagle fights, Hobbit finally gets his trade. A 3-on-3 once again. They know that Gade's pinned in a corner here. They can't seem to find him. Hobbit caught off by Searson's pistol, and now the advantage swings to Big.
Gade just pulling all the distraction away. Hobbit not really finding a lot of success there. Only one pick, and now it comes down to Shiro and Axel to see what they can do. At least for them, it is 2 star players to bring this 2v3 back. Big don't have a lot of information on where this rotation's coming in from. They do have Gade aggressive in from mid, so there could be a contact in elbow if Gambit want to take back this mid position.
Gade set looking into that angle. They will start walking up to it. On play on the defensive of the A site itself is Keto. Turned away at the wrong moment. Perfect swing from Shiro. Crosshair placement on point. Ready exactly where he was going to be. Keto now stands alone on the A defensive. Backup is nowhere near arriving. He's got to land his first headshot and he just can't seem to do it. 9 HP for the man. Worn down upon by both sides. And Axel will get the plant in Searson. 1v2.
I don't think there's any point going for this, Jay. He doesn't have any armor. 1v2 situation. It's risky to even throw the AK away, trying to risk it.
You're all leaning initially. No kit. No time. Really back turn at the wrong moment. Axel will find his tag and eventually find his kill. Double up in this round for him and put double digits on the board for Gambit. 10-2 to the board. And Big just look like, not that I haven't turned up to play today, but just they're just struggling so hard. They definitely weren't prepared for Ancient.
No, they're getting outclassed here. And this is always the concern with Gambit is, all right, this event, things haven't looked great. They lost that best of 1 to Fiend. Mirage against Asuba was quite close. All the maps that they've actually converted have been so one-sided. The 16-2 on Overpass, the 16-3 on Inferno, the 16-6 on Mirage. And knowing we've got to step things up. We've been not great against some of the low-level competition. We're facing off against a tough side of Big, a top-end team. Let's bring it. Let's come into this game looking refreshed, and my goodness, they have.
Tactical pause taken by Big. Moment to try and do so appropriate at this moment. They've got a lot of work that needs to be done. And remember, their CT basis is this half. Going down by 8, possibly more, likely more. Hobbit, first out of the gate. Gonna see Smoke's blind spray ahead of them. See where Searson is as he takes that AWP shot right back to the man. Get the advantage, at least for now.
No, Shiro's looking for the pick back, though. Great opening man advantage for Big to work with. They've struggled with the opening man advantages these last few rounds, and now just a quick BXE out from ramp.
AWP looks in, catches another with tabs and skills simultaneously on the Varney. It's now 2 players left standing for Gambit. Finally a trade. Shiro evades most of that nade, but Searson is still fragging. Triple up in the quadra, and all the rounds go the way of Big. All the frags go the way of Searson. A third to the board of the CT side at last.
And they got a playmaker in that round. Searson moving about, very versatile on the map. He aggresses forward, plays in and around that smoke near the candles area, gets that first pick out from elbow, and just falls back immediately. Starts that rotation back out to the B side, playing into the back lines, even starting to aggress forward to have a look into that cave entrance, and getting Big their third.
A long last as well. Taking their sweet time too. This smoke's on. Flashes forwards. Position's being taken, and the early entries into the ramp position in particular. Inters will start looking out for the player at Cheetah. Tamsin continues to play in position, spraying manically, hoping he can find something through these wall bangs, but they're evading all the pre-fire positions, so nothing goes his way.
A lot of spams that you can do in and around that cheetah position, and so far for Tabson, he hasn't found a crazy amount of success with it. Searson, again, aggressive down on this angle in from mid. Hasn't been able to catch anyone just yet.
Spots them, but still misses the shot. Incendiary tried driving them away. Meanwhile, Hobbit punishes Tizian for his aggression. All-important frag. Found now by the T side. Or in for Searson. What a shot that was. Barely the head being offered up to him, but he gets it at a 4 versus 4.
It seems as if it's just a walk play down to this B side again. Into struggling with the entry. Gade gonna get traded out.
Smokes on the suppressed Tabson at this one. He's got Searson right behind him. They're trying to lean up. The sprays continue blind. They don't find these picks or damage being done. The flashbang will force Searson off angle to the left-hand side. They won't commit towards it, though. Where is that bomb? It is getting picked up.
Oh,
Axel's found the flank angle. He's caught Keto. He's opened up the A side already. He gets his double. He went on for the triple with a crack angle. Searson might suppress him, but now they know what to do. They might even press towards that B site even further. And Axel gets his triple. Big can go no further. It's 11-3.
Jeez, that's pure class coming through from Axel. And just notice the way the Gambit slowed that round down. They've got some map control into ramp, into cave. The bomb's still out from that outside of the B doors. Slow it down. Axel's got to play. We don't need to make a move. He's getting into those backlines. Not only does he deal with that A player to allow the opportunity of bringing that bomb back over, but he peeks forward, tries to cut the rotation. And hang on a minute, he's dropped all 3 players by himself.
Being in around 15, at least have a decent vibe. It's still limited. Utility is virtually non-existent. We've got an SMG for Tizian. Aggression coming in from Searson, hoping he can find something, anything, out here towards mid. And instead, the boost from Shiro just counters it. Hobbit falls in trade, sure, but it's a 4v4.
Yeah, dropping that AWP in the early round is going to make a big difference, because how else are they going to be able to recover that? Nafani getting flashed off. Tabs are making an info play in from lane. Very passive for Gambit, trying to bait out a mistake.
Tabson finally gets Shiro to drop, so one responsive in. Inters immediately gets it right back to evens, though. And the man advantage that Big desperately are trying to cling onto, he's just falling apart at the seams. Wraparounds in from Tizian will get towards mid in the Candles position. Gambit are thinking about the A play. Tabson still watching elbow. They're going to peek him.
It all just comes down to this first fight. Tabs are now getting drawn the attention with that smoke down to the B doors, and that pulls his attention away. Tizian just jump spotting with the SMG, just hoping for some sort of mid-contact.
Full spot, Axel, the tap of the headshot. Reveals a little bit of info, not a lot of it. Didn't see that bomb, and only saw the one man. Starting to walk out for Gambit. We'll try and lean into Donut. They have got Tizian repositioning into the defensive part of that part of the map. Head of the corner, tucked away. And if Nafani starts walking, 20 seconds. They could go either side. It's probably going to be a convergence, so rat to B.
It's got to be B, knowing they've got to regroup up with a teammate of Inters and just try and sandwich in.
Time is of the essence. Here they come. Tabson. Here's the footsteps. Tries to wrap in against Nafani. Drops that bomb. All important. He's Axile. He gets that trade, but now needs to plant desperately. Has he got enough time for this? It's 3 seconds. Oh, it's denied. It's never mind. Keto lines them up and keeps it together for Big. A 4th round to close out their CT half. That's to the difference of 7, though. Gambit are still on fire right now.
Yeah, they are. You notice in that round, maybe they needed an extra 4 or 5 seconds just to be able to clear out the bomb site, make sure that even if it does get denied, that trade onto Tabson's going to come through, get that bomb down. They plant open for the back line, so it allows that rotation in from Keto. Overall, though, for Big, the issue I'm seeing with them, Jay, is any time they strike with an opening man advantage, it just feels like it gets taken away with them 2, 3 seconds, 4 seconds maybe. They're never holding advantages. And for Shiro, what a performance this is in the first half of their map pick in a semi-final. 20 kills, 5 deaths, that's unreal.
Yeah, he is just on fire. Absolutely on fire. You don't even need guys like Hobbit and Co to perform. They're like 9 and 4 frags on him and Inters. Just because of the sheer amount of performance that Shiro's put up, he's just taken the brunt of their burden and put it on his back. And for Gambit, it's working well to their CT side. We shall go. Our second half of our first map, the punish pick that Big are getting punished for. Walking so aggressively. Maybe this could be the bait play that could catch Nafani off guard. No, he wins that one fight on Tabson. Keto's so close, but Nafani's out of dodge. He's spotted him still on the shoulder bait. Rotates away back towards Cheetah, back into the CT part of the map. And with the man advantage intact, he sees the shoulders continuously, knows that they're peeking.
And that hurts, because that setup for Big is supposed to counter exactly what Nafani did. You've got 2 players cross-firing, that if there is a slow walk aggression, we're going to catch him off. Instead, it doesn't happen at all, and Tabson just falls.
Just goes to show how many things have gone right for Gambit versus how many things have gone wrong for Big. Gades P250 leaning in. It's Nafani with a shot on Searson. Gades spotted as well, tagging a couple of players pretty low, but not getting the kills for it. It's a 5v3 as a result. Big got to work with a man disadvantage, and Hobbit, oh, he spotted 2 more players. Maybe even deny that bomb from crossing. He does get overwhelmed a little bit, so Keto can find the trade. Hurry open up a line to the A site, the smokes go down to B.
I love the way that Gambit just keep prodding. Even when they got that first pick, we're still seeing some aggression out from ramp, still seeing it from Hobbit. So it feels as if for Big, pressure's just always on. It's never getting taken away, and now they start that wraparound into the A site. like, rotations are already on the way.
Less than 30 seconds. Axile in at Temple, spotting 2 individuals. Can't get the shots on Tizzy, and he's getting a couple of decent tags. Nafani back at the CT cross will afterwards concede the bomb plant. Tizzy does get dropped, but Axile makes it a double on Gay and a triple on Keto and all. He has been another stellar play. He might not have had the same number of numbers, I think, for Shiro, but he is still showing up some multi-frag rounds and very good performances from his. 12th to the board for Gambit. And Big, I mean, they have got a bomb plant bonus so they can buy, but they need a round desperately.
Yeah, they do. And we start mentioning the pistol round percentage again. We're now looking over at Gambit as one of the best here in the competition. 11-1, 3 loss. They're currently 10-0 for their round 2 conversions of winning pistol and the follow-up. That's something that NKJ's going to have to be looking at. Saying, okay, if Gambit have been so successful with winning that second round after pistol, why? And what can we exploit?
What's left in the tank for Big here on map 1? Where do they go with this disaster? Tactical pause, I believe, has just been called. The second one for Gambit, interestingly enough. I mean, they don't need it, but I'm with you on that front.
It just comes down to the mindset. Knowing it's not over. Yeah, we're up by a crazy margin. Let's not do anything uncharacteristic. Let's stick to our game plan. Let's come in composed. Let's make sure we're not losing this anti-force buy. And let's roll them. Let's have a very convincing scoreline. Keep it as close to a 16th as possible. And even Axel is thinking about making an aggressive move here in A main.
Pressed up with a nade initially, but falls back. Shiro playing anti-flash here at the back plat position. And all the T's could walk in and engage him. The AWP assists and has no info to this flank angle. Axile set ahead of Temple. We're going to receive this utility inbound now. Smokes on, spray through, and Shiro's going to wait. Shiro's going to wait, spots the bomb carrier, engages, gets the frag together. Needs to get a bit more. They have absolutely no idea where he's come from. He gets away with a second frag. Searson turns that scout for Hobbit with his own frag. A double up as well. Searson in a 1v3. You can find Hobbit so easily, but everyone else is going to be the challenge. And now they're on the site, flanking around, looking for the crack angle. The no-scopes don't hit, and Nafani drops him. Oh, disaster for Big. They struggled to figure out his position, and that's what cost them the most.
I think they're still in the hotel room, haven't woken up yet. What's going on there? First of all, they find that first pick. Axel's playing the off angle in from Temple. Beautiful entry. Great start into the round. You've got to be clearing your angles. Even when the M4 A1S strikes from Shiro, that information has got to be pulled over. It took them so long to realize where he was. By then, rotations are already combining in.
It's not looking good. This is not looking good right now for Big. Losing the pistol, losing the full bomb bolstered by, and now down to Deagles on the eco round. This is not looking good. 16. Only 3 more rounds for Big to get there. Gambit. Such a ridiculous lead right now.
And it could be even further. Knowing they're up against an eco in a round like this, passiveness coming through, not searching, not getting too overly aggressive, working with the sound cues and putting that util down into Cheetah, making sure there's no much further aggression in from Big.
Damage done to Shiro, Tizzy, and down to 39 as well. Axar with the M4 waiting. Deagler tabs him behind the smokes in at main. They walk their way back over towards elbow. Might try press onto the A site with that bomb being so committed on Tabson's part. Just wait here. Axon in the center of the site.
No util is going to be the defining factor in a round like this. Even Hobbit is searching in for a mid pick. Searson, he's going to be a dead man. Now they've got no lurk. They've just got to go out from A main themselves.
All important start. Split removed. Now 4 individuals to work in from main. Bomb on the back of Tabson still. Working in the site. Shiro will drop Keto. Hobbit with the crack angles into the back lines. And finally Tabson drops that bomb. Axar with his credited frag. Gay with 1 responsive. That's as far as it will go, though. Tizian and Gay quick to drop. 14-4. 10 rounds of difference. Guns are back in for Big, but this could be their last chance.
It really is their last chance, Jay. They have to show us something. And I want to see some pace coming through from Big. Try and see if they can hit them head on, whether it's some early lane control or it's getting out from elbow quick. Just trying to see if they can somehow manage an opening man advantage, see if they can create some early space in the round. It just feels as if so much just is not going their way at all. And Searson with the AWP, he could be the difference maker in a round like this.
It's got to be. At this stage, it's got to be better than Shiro. Keys, the man that walks up first and foremost straight out of the main position alongside Tabs when the bomb on his back. This could be risky, but it also could pay off for them. There's no one directly on the A site here for Gambit. They went for a hard stack towards the B play, so actually the bomb goes down for free.
Yeah, 3 on B and 2 in from mid. It seemed as if Big had read that immediately and now can just slow it down. This is going to be a tough retake from Gambit.
Molotov keeps Hobbit at bay for the time being, so time is being stalled for. Gambit are going to go for this. Got plenty of cash, and they're finally setting up the backstab. Gade is trying to account for it. The CTs, they with positions. Nade into the back lines. Tizian catches that directly at his feet. 49 HP. Counter flash in. Inter's going to turn away from it. Time's running short here. They've got to get it picked relatively soon, and Tabson finds his frag instead. That might force them back. Indeed, Keto gets Hobbit, and Axel's not moving. They're going to pin them into the site, try to get them to go up with a bomb blast. Axel and Shiro with a couple of decent exit frags. The round is gone. Soon spotted by Nafani. 2 wrap the corner. He gets that first. Not quite that second, but Gade is the lone player standing, so an expensive round win for Big.
I would still say that's pretty excellent in from Gambit. Yeah, they weren't able to get that round together. Once they're in a 3v5 and they lose a couple of players, they just say, right, let's look for exits. We know we've got some money. Let's try and see if we can put some damage in. Knowing that only one player stayed alive there from Big does not help the economy game at all. And Gambit know that if we step it up here, we win this next rifle round, we pretty much win the game because we're just going to cripple their economy.
Absolutely. Tactical taken. Discuss the strategy of how they're going to go ahead and do that. They're still only 2 rounds away from the victory. The guns come back in, the AKs, the Galils, of course, reinvested on from the part of Big. Expense definitely be felt in this round. Of course, full guns out for the CT side. Got M4s, the single AWP. Not really opting for double AWPs here for Gambit. Big went for that quite a lot on their CT half. But Shiro's doing enough. They don't need a second AWP.
Yeah, Gambit are one of those teams that actually don't double AWP very frequently at all. They know that with their setups and the protocols they have, they can find more success with just one. Even out to this elbow position. So much counter utility in from Gambit means that it's going to be a late take into mid. Big have just got that one lurk in from the lane area of Keto.
Trying space ahead of the smoke for Tizian. Walk out from elbow. The majority of players. One player over at lane can come in from window, and it's Exile. Sees the majority of them coming. Flashbang counteracts them. Should blind off Tizian for the time being. Get a bit more coverage. He crosses back to the right-hand side. Find Tabson on the quick shot. Advantage now for the CT side. Hobbit there to keep it. As Axel gets traded. He doubles up, drops that bomb. Looks in against the AWP, who misses a crucial shot. Takes so much damage, and Shiro comes in to get the trade. Keto in a 1v4, and Shiro wall bangs him out of the server. Map point for Gambit. Their punish pick is going so well, and Big on the precipice of going down 1 in this series. They've got no money left.
No, not at all. And we're even in a position for Shiro that we're going into round 21. He's died 6 times. He's stayed alive in so many of these rounds. He's up to 26 frags. He'd love to be able to get that 30 bomb. That might not even be possible, though, because this round, this could be it. When you have a look at really what Big are bringing to the table, they're going to need a miracle if they're able to keep themselves in this game longer here on this first map.
I'd be so stunned if they can do it here. Orps in, looking around. Shiro already set towards that beat. Contact sees the shoulder bait of the one individual. Got Nafani now set with his own M4 against Keto's position. He'll walk up. Look to catch him. It's Shiro instead with the AWP that gets first blood in round 21. Hobbit will find 2 more out towards mid. And at this stage, it's all falling apart for Big. What a great map pick. A great veto for Gambit. And they're proving it here in this punish. 16-5 on the table. 2 more frags to get there. Now 1 more frag to get there. Gade got a full ace this if he wants to keep Big alive. Shiro just hunting for the info. As soon as he reveals it, all CTs converge in his position. The AWP might even take him down. He finds that one. Not quite that second shoulder bait on the shot. Banging in for the AWP. He gets his double up. But 60 seconds to grab that bomb and continue the frags.
And it's just all comes down to information. Hobbit down here towards his donut position. Gade's got to try and see if he can find that duel straight away. Get back to that bomb. Someone's going to meet him head on. That's Inter's. And you've got to imagine Gade's not going to win this fight. 16-5. What a result coming through from Gambit. And honestly, Jay, they weren't tested there.
They weren't. No, absolutely not. This is not a great map for Big, so we can't be too shocked. But that is cause for concern. Even going into Dust 2, this is one of the first few times that we've seen Gambit actually get a first map in the series, or not struggle at the very least in the first map of the series here, Dwayne.
Yeah, very true. And what a way to turn it around when you look at their results where they had some struggles against Asuba. It looked as if for a moment Enterprise was going to get under their skins. They come into the semi-finals and this is a team that just looks so deadly.
And I love that as well, by the way. You just saw Groove pull out the scrapbook sheet. Like, he's already preparing for the second map. They're already good to go and almost ready to get into it at this stage play. Like, for Gambit, they just look so locked on at the moment. They look so much better than that group stage run, than that first round of the playoffs. This is a team now that could win the whole thing.
But, I mean, we expected that coming into this, though. There's no other way of putting it around. This is the favourite team here. This is the best team that we've got in this competition. And now we're starting to see glimpses of why they're the best.
Absolutely. I mean, you saw glimpses right there throughout the course of that entire map up, a whole map of why they are one of the best. And for Big, like, it's got to really just demoralizing. But knowing that their map picker Dust 2, their best map in the pool, is coming up next, is that going to be a momentum shift right now?
It could be. But look at the could, right? You've got to think you're shattered after that one. You think, my goodness, Gambit have just come alive. We haven't been able to trade out Shiro. He just kept hitting us. Going into Dust 2, it's not going to a third map easily at all. Big are going to have to really step up. They're going to have to focus. And the mental factor is definitely going to be a big win condition for Big on how they sort of feel going into that second map.
We'll find out how they do feel and whether or not they can turn this situation around. It is Dust 2 their own pick after this very short break. So do stick with us here at V4 as the desk will be back to break down whatever they can over on Ancient, and we continue with our semi-finals.